It's been about a month since I did the last video, so I thought I'd do a bit of an update. And as you can see, the update is everything's in a mess. A couple of people have been asking about the CD32 video I did. I think that was the last video I did. That was about a month ago. Yeah, there's the case. There's the CD drive. There's the shielding for it. There's the main board, and there's the rest of it in boxes and stashed away on that shelf there. So yeah, not much more's happened with it. Power supply's over here. Spoiler alert, the power supply is knackered. I did actually do some more video on the CD32, and I have actually got around to editing it now, but the last half of it, where I was hooking it up with the power, I'm not happy with it at all, so I'm probably going to redo that bit and do it again. So I'm going to redo that last bit again with the power, because what I did was, well, I made quite a few mistakes, and although it's not an instructional video, it's not ideal what I've done, so I'm going to redo that and go through the testing that I did. Hopefully that might be useful to somebody else. I suppose really what's happened is I've started to try and look at too many things at once here. As you can see here, I've bought quite a lot of spare parts for some of the projects that I want to work on. Just sort of tried to have a bit of a mad ordering spree and getting bits for joysticks and other projects that I want to work on. Unfortunately, things like this I've bought are not quite right, because they're about 4 times bigger than I thought they were, so that's a bit annoying. I've got retro bench A500 capacitor kit. There's a CD32 one somewhere as well, because I'm going to recap the CD32 board just out of a matter of course, but obviously some of the caps on that aren't very good anyway. I've picked up a few other bits over the last few weeks as well. I've got some more joysticks here, a couple more zip sticks. I keep looking out for these if I can get hold of them. Sort of 20 quid marks about what I'll pay, but most of them on eBay are listed at sort of 30 up to 40 pounds. It's just I think it's just a bit much, really. No, I can understand it though, people want them, but if you keep your eyes out, you get the odd one a bit cheaper. So that's what I've been trying to do. I'm trying to collect a few of these because I want to, considering doing a little mini series or something on these, just how they work, taking them apart, cleaning them, doing repairs, because a lot of the time because they're quite old now, they develop faults. The switches don't always work properly, and sometimes even the cables have just had it, so it'd be nice to do something on that. I also used to have a zip stick that was quite modded, that I did when I was in my teens. I did that, so I'd like to sort of recreate that. Not necessarily exactly the same, but it's similar in terms of why I did it and the ideas behind the mods that I did. So that would be something that I think would be interesting to have a go at, and just some other more simple mods that perhaps other people could do, because these are nice joysticks, but there are things about them that I don't like, and they could easily be fixed, they easily be improved on without doing too much work. I've also been looking for keyboards. I've got here, it's actually a PC keyboard, but I thought this isn't a bad substitute for an external Amiga keyboard, even though it's obviously not an Amiga keyboard. It's not got the Windows keys because it's an older one, and the styling's not bad. So I've picked that up relatively cheap, because the problem with the Amiga keyboards, especially the A2000s, A3000 keyboards, again, like everything Amiga at the minute, you try buying it on eBay and it's just going for an absolute fortune. So I thought, well, that's a nice substitute for now. I have actually bought a couple of the keycaps. There was a recent Kickstarter for Amiga keycaps. I'm obviously going to want to do that, but there's no real sort of substitute for an external case for an A500 keyboard. I know there's the metal casing that Stephen's doing for the Checkmate cases, which is nice. I mean, that's one option possibly, but it would be really nice if someone did a proper plastic injection molded case to convert the A500 keyboard to an external one. This is just another PC keyboard I picked up for parts. I know all the keys were missing, but I didn't realise the casing wasn't so good at the back. It's got some chunks out of it and some holes in the back for some reason. I don't know what that's all about. Yeah, that should be okay for spares, hopefully. I've got a couple of these old cherry keyboards, they're quite nice. This was another unnecessary mad last minute purchase. It's just an A500. It has got a trapdoor somewhere, I don't know where it's gone, although the clip's broken on it unfortunately. I think, yeah, this RAM expansion's got a battery on it, so judging by the fact that this switch was all sort of stiff and wouldn't move, and it just got a bit of a fuzzy look to it, this has. I need to get this apart fairly soon and obviously check there's no real corrosion going on in there. But obviously at this stage taking something else apart's probably not a good idea. Unfortunately this has suffered a bit of damage in the post, which I wasn't very happy about. It's probably difficult to see on the corner there, there's some small cracks right in the very corner, so it's been whacked on the corner. And what I also found the other day was the back here is damaged as well. Again, it's difficult to see. Actually, it's not that corner, that's why it's difficult to see, because that's the wrong corner. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad on here, but when you really get down to look at it, it's got some cracks all round, so a bit annoying really. On the plus side, no pun intended with it being a 500, the seller did give me some money off, so this has actually only cost 35 quid, which for an A500 these days is pretty good going. So I've got something in mind for this that may involve not using the case anyway now, so we'll see. Depends on time, depends on whether I can do what I want to do or not, but that's another big project to add to the collection of projects. And the reason that got broken is because it came in this box, which you can see is absolutely knackered. And the reason it's knackered is because the box is actually smaller than the computer. So I think they've put it in at an angle, and obviously the weight of the A500 just busted the corners out, and then you've got no protection on these corners. So it's really frustrating, but this happens so often. I have had this with so many things from eBay. People just don't pack things properly. So there's certain things I won't buy now. I mean, I've been looking at 1084S monitors every now and again, although I really don't want to be having the space taken up by one of those, but it would be nice. But there's no way I'd want to have one of those shipped. They might as well just send a bag of broken glass instead of a monitor. Let's have a bit of tea. Yeah, so it's a bit chaotic in here, but it's not really that. It's not as bad as it looks. I just need to put stuff away. Most things here have got a home. Some of those things, the home will be a tall black thing with a lid and two wheels on it, but most of it's got somewhere proper to live. The problem I've had really is my usual problem. I find too many things interesting and I find it hard to focus on one thing, so I'll flip to something else and then things just don't get done. That's a bit of a curse being someone that finds most things interesting. So the last few weeks have been a bit varied really. I've recorded a few more videos that I've not put up, just odd little bits. I've done some random teardowns of things that pretty much are getting thrown away, so I thought, well, let's do a teardown video, why not? We've got a monitor up there that needs chucking because it's broken, so I might do a teardown of that at some point. I've got a load of PC bits here, as you can see, that I've also bought. Trying to upgrade what I've got at minimal cost really, because I'm sort of loath to keep spending money on new stuff and then not actually doing anything with it, so I'm just trying to just upgrade what I've got. I mean, it's good enough for what I want to do, so it seems to be the logical thing to do really, than keep spending more and more money he says, looking at that. And yeah, so about 4 weeks ago I went to the Manchester Play Expo. It was okay. It was a good event, but I just went down in not the best frames of mind, so for me it didn't really work out. I ended up coming back early on the Sunday morning. It was a lot busier as well. I went to the Blackpool Play Expo the year before. I found it a lot easier to get on the arcades, and also I ran into people I knew, so that was better. Because I think for me, things like that, I need the social aspect of it. I don't want to just go down just to look at the arcades and just watch what everyone else is doing. I've got a need to sort of try and meet people and interact a bit. I think probably because I've ended up somewhat quite socially isolated, so I've got a need to try and do something about that. After the Play Expo, there was another event I went to, a much smaller event called SWAG, Southwest Amiga Group. It was a couple of weeks ago already. That's gone quick, and that was brilliant. If I'd have known about that, I would have gone sooner. In fact, I probably wouldn't even have bothered going to the Play Expo. Not because there's anything wrong with the Play Expo, but just because these smaller events where I find it was a lot easier to approach people and have a conversation, and people would just approach me and start talking about things. And yeah, that was more, it's given me more what I want, what I need out of going to an event. So I'll definitely be going to that again. In fact, my little countdown time, which I've done a video on and not released, is set counting down the days to the midnight before SWAG. So there you go, 96 days to turn some of this crap into something that might be worth taking with me. Because you can book a table and take your own stuff with you, and that's what people did. So it was really, really good. People brought all sorts of crazy things with them, Amiga wise, mostly obviously Amiga theme because it's an Amiga meetup. Yeah, really glad I went to that. We'll definitely be going again, even though it's a fair trip for me. It's well worth it just for the people. And the other things that have happened in the last couple of weeks is I've got a job again, which is good. I did have a job, but I quit that job longer ago than I'd like to say, for various reasons. But I got to a point where I've needed to do something and get back to work. Well, obviously, you can only quit work so long before money becomes an issue. That's one factor. Obviously, not even it becoming an issue. There's things I want to do, and things cost money, unfortunately. Looking at you again. And yeah, it's been a bit of a shock, that one, going back to work, having been off for quite a while, because I'll come home and think I'll sit down and watch a couple of hours YouTube videos, but then obviously the night's gone pretty much. Half the night's gone, and you've got to do all the other normal things: cook, eat, sleep, hopefully have a shower at some point, and then the night's gone. So it's been a bit of a wake-up call, really, in terms of prioritising things, I suppose, and trying to decide what things matter to me the most and what I want to do the most, what I want to focus on. Yeah, which is, focus obviously has been a bit of a point of failure here at the moment. So yeah, that's really where things are at. I'm not really sure what else to say. It's a bit of one of these pointless rambling videos about nothing, really, but basically I think my plan now will be sort this shit mess out, and I'll probably try and get this CD32 at least together in a box, even if I don't do some more videos on it, which I think I will. I want to at least get this thing powered up and working to the point where I've got the loading screen. And at that point I'll be happy to put it away for now and shift my focus back to the other things, like obviously the A500 Plus, which is hiding down here, which most of the videos have been related to that, I suppose, in some way, and that's been my main testing machine for some of the hardware. Obviously I've got the the 500 now, but that's going to be for a completely different project. But again, I do really need to pull that apart as well and just give that a once over, make sure there's nothing problematic that's going to surprise me, and then really just sort of start going through things and trying to get these projects moving. One of the other reasons to do that is because there's a lot of stuff I've got that I don't really want or need anymore, so I'd like to be able to perhaps chuck some stuff on eBay instead of buying for once and get a bit of money back, and then, you know, put that back into something that's something I want. But it all takes time, and obviously, as I say, switching back to a full-time job from a no-time job, it's one hell of a shock, but I certainly feel a lot better for it. It's very interesting, the difference between the environment that I have and the place that I'm working now and where I worked before, and it does go to show that as much as I've lost quite a lot of money by being off of work, I've not earned the money obviously. It's not always easy to make a decision like that to quit, but I do have to admit that it was probably the right decision. There's certainly more to life than how much money you can earn. Anyway, on that note, we'll call it quits.